You're listening to the Astrology Hub podcast, practical wisdom for living your life on purpose. Hi there, my name's Amanda Poole-Walsh, and I am the founder of Astrology Hub.
And I'm Donna Woodwell, Astrology Hub Senior Editor and Master Astrologer.
And we're here for your weekly forecast for the week beginning February 25th. Donna, let's start high level. Can you tell us about the theme for this week?
Well, as weeks go, Amanda, this one is relatively quiet, astrologically speaking. It's also the dark time before the coming new moon and other changes that are coming next week. So perhaps quiet integration is a good name for what we should be facing this week.
All right, quiet integration. I like that. Let's talk about today. What's going on today?
Okay, so Monday begins with a 9-hour void of course moon, which is a pretty long void period. So we've talked about before, void moons are quiet times when the cosmic winds are still and calm. So you may want to pull back a little bit or tend to your own garden. Just sit and be for a little while if you have that kind of luxury. And now tucked in the middle of that long void period is a very sweet Mercury sextile to Venus. Now, it reminds me of those ordinary acts of kindness that lift our spirits. Now, for example, at my local Starbucks drive-through that we sometimes stop at in the morning on the way to school, it's not uncommon for someone to pay for the order of the person behind them and then drive away. And so the barista says, oh, by the way, the person in front paid, so you don't have to worry about it. And it creates this kind of great chain as people go, oh, well, if they paid for me, I'll pay for the person behind me. So everyone ends up leaving with a smile, never even seeing who those acts of kindness came from, except for perhaps the baristas. So it's that kind of day where you can ask yourself what kinds of small, perhaps anonymous things that you can do to pay it forward, so to speak.
I love that, Donna. And it's such a great reminder. I mean, those are the things that it's like that, those little bits of magic that you can pass along to people. And it's so simple. So I love that, thinking about that, how we can do that in our everyday life. I think hopefully we'll create a ripple effect and people will be paying it forward and paying for people's Starbucks all across the globe. That'd be really cool.
Okay, so the last quarter moon falls in Sagittarius on Tuesday. So that formally begins the darkest part of the lunar cycle. It's the phase of the moon that the astrologer Dane Rudhyar linked to integration. So choosing which ideas and beliefs that we want to keep and which one we want to release before the next cycle begins. So not to worry, if you feeling like you need to get a little bit of extra oomph in your world, then Wednesday is your day, because you might wake up with a little more spring in your step thanks to the moon meeting Sagittarius ruler Jupiter in the early morning hours. So you might wake up thinking, oh, well, the sun is shining. Today is going to be a brighter day than it has been in a while. Meanwhile, the sun is in Pisces and it makes a nice sextile, a nice harmonious aspect with Mars in Taurus. And so there's an urge to make some small but steady progress in your day. And this quietly productive vibe will continue into Thursday. The moon has moved into Capricorn by Thursday, and it's harmonizing with that Mars in Taurus. So it's a good day to drop the drama and just take care of business without a lot of fuss. Now, Thursday evening may be a little more quirky as Venus squares off with Uranus. It's one of its twice annual transits of Uranus in the early hours of Friday morning. Now, Venus is the love goddess, and Uranus is known for its unpredictability and its desire to not be contained. And squares are notorious for creating friction and tension. So, what to do with all of this on Thursday night? Well, perhaps you'll want to challenge yourself to relate to others differently, because there's a good chance if you challenge others to relate differently, they may not take it the way that you intended it, because again, Uranus is unpredictable. And it's also a square that's happening at the very, very end of the signs that are involved. And when we have aspects like this in the final degree of a sign, it often suggests endings. So any relationships that are on rocky ground, you might find on Thursday that once and for all, they fade away. Those last words are spoken for the sake of finding some more freedom in your life and the ability to move forward into something new.
So if that is you, that's a great reminder at the end that if something is ending in your life, that it is going to enable more freedom, more liberation for you. So I just wanted to highlight that part because it can be change is normally something we face with a little trepidation and a lot of times hang on to relationships and people in our lives. But it sounds like any of you experiencing that on Thursday night, this is probably a step in the right direction, even if it's painful at the moment.
And it's interesting because then on Friday, as we move into the weekend, Venus is actually sliding into a new sign. It's moving into Aquarius, where she'll be until March 26th. Now, Aquarius is an air sign. So Venus naturally gravitates toward this stimulation of the exchange of ideas that happen between people, especially people in relationships. And so there's a certain lightheartedness and a detachment that comes with Venus in an air sign that we haven't had in a while. But Aquarius is also fixed, which can sometimes lead to conflicts between value systems that seem really hard to reconcile. And this is especially true later in the day as the moon meets Saturn and Pluto also on Friday, which could bring up some conflicts over deeply held beliefs and convictions. So sometimes in situations like this, we find that practicing tolerance or just agreeing to disagree out of mutual respect for one another is the only way through. And that it's wise to stay grounded in the present moment and attached to what's real, not allow all those imagined possibilities of what the future might hold or get tangled up in what your beliefs are projecting out into the world. In other words, don't let your imagination blow things out of proportion because you might find yourself throwing out the baby with the bathwater. So letting go of drama is a good thing to think about on Friday.
When the differences in opinion occur, Donna, I've been practicing something that my mentor, Allison Armstrong, is teaching me, and that is to listen to learn. So instead of to listen to agree or disagree, which we do a lot of the time, we listen to learn. So as the person's expressing a belief or a value, it's not, oh, I agree with that or I don't agree with that. It's like, okay, what does that expression tell me about that person's underlying values? What can I learn or understand about that person as they're expressing this opinion that I may or may not agree with? It doesn't actually really matter. So there's a certain level of curiosity that we can bring that I think lightens things, because if we're listening the whole time going, oh, I agree, or oh, I don't agree, we're cutting off the true understanding of the person that we're engaging with. So I just wanted to offer that. That might be helpful as we're navigating that energy.
It's absolutely perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So yes, do that. Okay, so Saturday could be a little bit quirky as the moon squares off with Uranus at the very end of Capricorn and Aries. So again, we're bringing up the Uranian theme again and again this week as it's preparing to move back into Taurus for the last time in 84 years. So we're kind of cleaning up that Uranus in Aries vibe. And so Saturday could bring a little bit of an emotional breakdown or frustration, which leads to a breakthrough. In fact, sometimes you need a breakdown to come to that stage of breakthrough if you're willing to say things differently. I always remember reading this article that was in the Elephant Journal on one of the Hindu goddesses, Ankil-Andeshwari. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And she's loosely translated in the article is the goddess of never not broken. She rides around on a crocodile and she represents the fact that there's a part of us that recognizes it's always broken in order to find that moments of transcendence. And I always like that idea of the woman on the crocodile in the mud of the river Ganges or elsewhere, finding a way to make it through because that's where the fertile soil that blooms the lotuses is found. And that even in these darkest moments, we are really charting our course to something beautiful.
I love that goddess. What's the name again?
Oh, I think it's pronounced Akhil-Andeshwari. But again, not being a Hindu speaker or a Sanskrit speaker, I may be mutilating it. But if you try and it's in Elephant Journal, maybe we can put that in the show notes. We'll find the article for everyone and then they can look it up directly. Read it for themselves.
The phrase that I remind myself of when I'm in those breakdown moments, I think that Michael Beckwith says it, but it's breakdown, breakthrough, breakdown, breakthrough. And just reminding myself that through the breakdown, there is the breakthrough. And I remember in some of the darkest times of my life, that song from the movie Garden State. I don't know if any of you have seen that, but it's actually really good. Or I thought it was good. But there's a song that says, so let go, just give in. It's so amazing here because there's beauty in the breakdown. And I just love to remind myself of that. There's beauty in that process of breaking down. There's beauty in that process of feeling so much emotion. And we're always put back together different on the other side of it. More capable of feeling, more capable of loving, more capable of experiencing compassion for other people. So just if you're there, there's beauty in the breakdown, and breakdown, breakthrough.
And, that's this thing about astrology. It tells you that we're always changing and we have the potential to always grow into something new, and that for every difficult moment, something shining is coming right after it. And that is the case on Saturday night. As the moon meets Venus in Aquarius in those evening hours, might be the time to kiss and make up. And it could be a pleasant date night or just an enriching conversation, especially if you're willing to celebrate life's glorious diversity and all the ways that we are all reaching out in spirit as the ways we know how. I think sometimes, as you said, it's easy to get caught in the judgment. But when you can be in that space where you recognize everyone is doing their best, everyone is got their own piece of divinity that they're exploring, it's a lot easier to hold space for all the possibilities. Okay, well, duty calls again on Sunday. As the moon squares off with Mars, there's an itch to get something done again. So, why don't you just pull out that list that you keep, and I know you have one, of all the things you have been avoiding doing, and pick something off that list and just get it done. And if you need help, ask a friend to pitch in and work with you until it gets done. Maybe you can trade with someone else. You help them, they help you. Because Mars is all about at his best when he has a job to do. And if you're going to be itching with that square to the moon, you might as well just roll up your sleeves and do it.
All right, Donna, thank you so much. So with the overarching theme of quiet integration this week, there's a few things that you said that I'd love to just highlight for everybody as we sum things up. So number one, in the beginning of the week, maybe be thinking about ways that you can pay it forward. Small kindnesses, small acts that could really just make someone's day. I mean, it can be something as simple as a smile when normally you maybe wouldn't even think to do that. So the pay it forward energy in the beginning of the week. If there is a rocky situation that you're in a relationship, and if it is at that point where it's coming to an end, remembering the freedom on the other side for you, the opportunity for something new, for growth. And then also if there's periods where you're feeling like things are really just sort of ripping apart, or there's this breakdown experience, that there is beauty in that as well. And the week sounds like it ends pretty productive and on a light note. So Donna, do you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Nope. I think that sounds like a brilliant summary.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to the forecast for this week. Thank you, as always, for being a part of our community and for making astrology a part of your life. On Thursday, we will be featuring Divine Harmony. She's an incredible astrologer, focuses a lot on astrology and shadow work and Jungian psychology, and brings in depths, lots of depths to the conversation. So tune in on Thursday, and we will look forward to connecting with you very soon. Take care, everybody.
Relationships? Putting your dreams into action. Your ideal career path? What themes are up for you to explore in the coming month? Find out now by downloading Astrology Hub's free lunar cycle calendar for the next month. The calendar gives you the details on the upcoming week's cosmic curriculum, including the theme, mantras, daily aspects, and journal prompts that you can use to work with the energy. Just go to astrologyhub.com/calendar to get your free lunar cycle calendar now. That's astrologyhub.com/calendar.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Astrology Hub podcast. We can't wait to continue exploring with you and bringing you astrology's most practical wisdom so you can live your life on purpose. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Hi, this is Chris Kaplan, the producer of the Astrology Hub podcast. This episode is over, but check the show notes for links to products and services you've heard about during this episode. And if you enjoyed our show, please subscribe and rate using the subscribe button wherever you listen to your podcasts.